I understand you have a conference coming somewhere in December?
It's not a conference, it's a parliament, right? It's a 13th session of the Provisional World Parliament. As I said before, this is developed under the authority of Article 19 of the Earth Constitution. And so in the Parliament that's coming up in December, we have legislation that has been submitted to us to be debated by the Parliament. And this, if it's passed, or if it's modified with friendly amendments and so on, it will become provisional world legislation. And if you look at our website, it's called www.worldproblems.net, you will see a list of all the previous legislation, the content and list of all the previous legislation that the various sessions of Parliament have passed. And you could see there, if you read through that, you see the kind of world that we could be living in. Right? A kind of world that has eliminated poverty, has eliminated weapons of mass destruction, has protected the environment, and so on. It's all there laid out in that legislation. And we're continuing that tradition in December.
Obviously, I think we would agree that countries like Russia or the United States or England or Israel may not agree with what you're trying to do. How do you intend to overcome that?
The Constitution serves the people of Earth, right? And the people of Earth, some 7 billion of us, are not represented by 4 or 5 nations, right? And their total population doesn't even come close to 7 billion people. We expect, in all honesty, we expect that those nations in the so-called third world, in Africa, in South Asia, in Latin America, they will see that this is a way out of the trap that they're in. They're in a trap, right? It's an economic trap. They're indebted to first world nations and private banks that fund the IMF and the World Bank. They're indebted and they're economically forced to in a series of regulations that are called globalization under the World Trade Organization, in which they have no choice. A few years ago, I was in Togo, one of these poor nations in West Africa, and I was talking to the Minister for Cotton growth. Now, in globalization, nations, in order to get convertible capital that they need for trade, have to export, right? They have to export something. They can't just have a sustainable economy within the nation. Togo is one of the cotton exporting countries. It's forced to it has no choice, right, under World Trade Organization rules. Forced to export. And he told me, the Minister of Cotton in Togo told me, that they can't even grow the cotton to cover, for the price that they get for that cotton on a market, in which all these cotton growing nations are competing with each other, they get so little in return that they can't even cover the cost of growing the cotton. So the Togo is losing money by selling cotton, and yet it has no choice. It's forced to export in this way, right? And the world system, which I've written about in some of my books, is this kind of system of domination and exploitation. The rich and the big corporations are exploiting the rest of the world, and the wealth continues to go from the bottom of the world to the very top. As you know, the 1%, the 2% are extremely rich, unbelievably rich, and the rest poorer and poorer and poorer. So we're going to change that, and those are the nations that will see the way out of the trap and begin joining the Earth Federation. As soon as they become aware of us and our work, we think that pretty soon the majority of people in the world will be represented by the Earth Federation, the majority of nations, and those few nations that are so-called first world, that are responsible for the corporations that exploit the rest of us, their people will say, why not us too? Why should we spend all this money on military when the rest of the world is disarming and spending their money on education and healthcare and clean water and so on? Why should we have to go broke like we are in the United States with trillions of dollars of debt? And pretty soon the first world nations will join as well.
One last question,
Okay.
Dr. Martin. I saved a bit of money. I would like to go in business, so I start my business. Would the democratic system still work, but perhaps more objectively, because we know that there's an appearance of democracy with the multinationals.
Yes.
But I'm a small businessman. I've saved a few $1,000s. I'm going to put a lot of time and energy to, to give a little bit of better surrounding for my family. How would that work under your World Cup?
Well, in the economic legislation that the Provisional World Parliament has passed, and in the articulation of economics that we have developed, we encourage that people have to, their enterprises have to be sustainable and environmentally acceptable and not exploiting people and so on. But we encourage initiative. The world needs the energy of ordinary people, right, and their hard work, and they need to get rewards for this. We're not going to take any of that away from them, but what we need to do is create an economic system, a vibrant economic system that embraces all of the human family. Right, that doesn't just suck the money up from the poor to the richest, so they get richer and richer. We need to. It's not a matter of distributing the wealth. It's a matter of creating a decent economic system in which everybody prospers through their own hard work and so on.
Anything you would like to add?
I would like to invite you, Ricaardoe, and anybody that sees the truth of this vision, to join with us and work together to create a decent world order and a decent future for our children.
Well, Dr. Martin, congratulations. Good luck in your good work.
Thank you very much.
The very best.
Yeah, thank you.